Good afternoon, guys. Today we'll be studying about SSL. What is SSL? How it works? Why do we need it? And what is the process of establishing the SSL connection with the between server and the client? So, one moment. Yeah. Okay, let's begin. So, could anyone tell me what is SSL, or anyone has basic understanding about it, and why do we need it? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so I'll take it as a no. So okay, so what is SSL? SSL basically a protocol to establish a secure connection between a client and the server. So let's say you are an end user and you are trying to reach out to google.com. Okay. So initially, before like when the SSL was not introduced, everything used to go via HTTP protocol, and everything was in a plain text, and anyone in between can intercept the traffic, and he can read all the traffic, all the data which is being transferred between the client and the server. So this poses a threat of like the confidentiality and integrity of data. So by SSL, we establish a secure connection between the client and the server. Are you able to see my screen? Not. Okay, not yet. Alright. Now? Okay. So initially, like there was only HTTP, where everything was in plain text and anyone in between can intercept the traffic and read about it. But then the SSL was introduced, and it was the HTTP was changed to HTTPS. We still use HTTP, but for secure connections, we use HTTPS, where the data confidentiality and integrity is priority. And nowadays, most of the connections are HTTPS connections. So before HTTP transfer can begin, there is SSL connection establishment, and this is done through SSL handshake. Okay, so we'll read about SSL handshake, how it is, uh, what is the process, and what things are exchanged between server and client before both of them can trust each other. So yeah, before that, so there are like basically four protocols in SSL which work together to establish the connection and transfer the data. So when the SSL is being established, the protocol is handshake, SSL handshake. Then then there is record layer protocol. Okay, this is used after the handshake is complete, and this is responsible to actually transfer the data in a secure manner, like in encrypted manner. Okay, then there are alert protocols. This is basically to alert between, like, send the alert messages between the server and client if there are any issues between the connections. Okay, then there is chain cipher spec. This is this protocol is a part of SSL handshake, and we'll read about it, like we'll know about it later in the video. So let's begin with the SSL handshake. So before SSL handshake can begin between the server and client, there is a TCP three-way handshake to establish the connection. Okay. Okay. So after the three-way, and I believe everyone knows how the TCP three-way handshake works, right? Guys, I need confirmation.
Yes, we are aware of that.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir.
hmm, yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we'll start with the SSL handshake. Moment. Okay. So SSL handshake starts with the, let's say this is the client side, and this is server. This is the, okay. So what happens initially is client sends a, after the three-way handshake, client sends a client hello. Okay. So in client hello, uh, what client sends is there are uh, what do you say? There are few parameters which are being exchanged in the client hello, which includes the SSL version to use. Okay. Then there is the algorithms which is supported by the client. So it can pick up to like multiple algorithms which are supported by the client. So let's say it picks up the list of 13 cipher suits which will be used for the key generation and data transfer. Okay. So, and then there is something called SNI, which is called server name indication. So what it includes is, so what is the use of SNI? I explain it to you. So let's say there is a server and there could be multiple websites hosted on the server. Okay. So every website is uh, hosted separately and is maintained separately. So it will have its own certificate. Every website will have its own certificate. So how the server will know that, okay, I am receiving the request for which website and I have to serve which certificate during the SSL connection? It is uh, known to the server by this field, the SNI field. Okay. Then there is client random. Okay. This is used during the key generation. So later in the video, we'll know that the multiple keys will be generated between the server and client for the encryption and decryption of the data. So this is used in that. Now the request reaches to the server. server will see, okay, I have the list of SSL versions supported by the client. I have list of the cipher suits. Okay. Then I have the client random and I have the SNI. So I know, let's say there are three websites: google.com, amazon.com, flipkart.com. Okay, so SNI states that the request is for amazon.com. So I'll serve the certificate from this slot. Now the server sends server hello. Okay. In server hello, what there will be is one. There are multiple versions supported by the client, which is, let's say, SSL TLS version 1.1, 1.2, or 123. So it will pick the best version according to the server or based on the client. So it will send the one SSL version which will be used for the connection. Then it will pick one of the cipher suits. So let's say there were 13 cipher suits in the client hello, it will pick one, the best one, which is good for the security of the data transmission and the key generation. So let's say it picked any of the cipher suits, then it will send the server certificate. So what is a server certificate? So client needs to know, okay, am I connecting to a legitimate server, or it is someone else pretending to be, let's say, amazon.com. So this is verified by the server certificate, and later in the video after the handshake, I'll explain it to you how the client will verify that this certificate is legitimate. Okay, so this server certificate is like an identity of the server. Okay, let's say I'm Pratik. Okay, so what? So let's say I give you a document. Let's say my Aadhaar card. I am Pratik. How you will verify it? You will verify it on the government website, that with the database, that this is legit or not. So this is like an identity of the server. Then there will be server random. Server random. This will be used in the key generation. Then there will be a public key of the server. So this public key will be used during the server. This public key will be used during the key generation, and I'll explain it to you in the next step. So this is, the server will have the private key, and only server will have the private key. No one else has the private key. Okay, and the server will share its public key to the client. Till now, nothing is encrypted. Everything is in plain text. Okay. Now, when this certificate reaches to the client, the first step will be the client will verify the server certificate. So I'll explain to you how the client will verify the server certificate after the handshake. So for now, just keep in mind that the client will verify the server certificate. The client has both the values, the server random and the client random, and the server also has the server random and client random. Okay. Now, after the client verifies the certificate, do anyone has any questions till now?
No,
Okay.
we are good.
Okay. Okay. So now the client will generate a pre-master secret. So this pre-master secret is something like both parties should have it before they can generate the keys. So because server random is there, client random is there, and everything is shared in plain text. So anyone in the middle can intercept the traffic and have this information. So to secure these things, what client will do, it will generate a pre-master secret. So what this pre-master secret is, this is let's say like a password you created by using the SSL version, the server random, client random, all those things, and this could only be generated by the client. No other guy in the middle. This guy doesn't know what he has chosen to create the pre-master secret. Now, how the client will send this securely to the server? By using this public key we discussed about initially. So it will encrypt this pre-master secret with the public key, and this pre-master secret is can only be decrypted by the private key of the server, nothing else. Okay. So after generating the pre-master secret, it will send it to the server. Okay. Now when the server receives the pre-master secret, it will decrypt it. It will decrypt the pre-master secret, and now both parties have the server random, client random, the pre-master secret, and no one else other than these two parties have pre-master secret. So with this pre-master secret, they will generate the session keys. So four keys will be generated on uh, both sides. Okay. So one is uh, server encryption, the other is client encryption, server HMAC, client HMAC. Okay. This is used for the this will be used to transfer the encrypt and decrypt the data basically, and these keys will be used in the record layer protocol. I'll explain it to you after the handshake. So in the SSL handshake, there is no use of these keys. These will be used during the data transfer. Okay. Now, after sending the private key, along with this message, the client will send one more message. It will be chain cipher spec. So what this chain cipher spec means, that okay, server, listen server, I have everything to transfer the data securely. I have generated my keys and I have everything to transfer the data. From this point onwards, my messages will be encrypted. So I'll encrypt this any further message and I'll send it to you. You have to decrypt it. Okay, with the keys generated just now. And now the server will also send the chain cipher spec and handshake finish, handshake done. The server also has everything which is needed to transfer the data securely, and it will send the chain cipher spec uh, and handshake done. Okay. Anyone has any questions so far, or anyone needs to understand this in Hindi or anything like that? Hello, guys. Okay, I'll take it as a no.
Someone asked in chat that key is encrypted or decrypted. Like when the client generates the key and
Mm-hmm.
uh, sends the uh, sends the key to server. I guess he's asking about that time only. Open the chat. Someone asked the
Mm-hmm.
same. Just
So
explain.
it's Ankit, Ankush. Ankush, turn on your mic and explain your question a little bit deeper. So which key you are talking about? The pre-master secret or something else? Okay, no problem. So which key you are talking about? Is it the pre-master secret or the other keys which were generated later? You can type it in the chat. Okay, I assume you are talking about the pre-master secret, right? Which is sent by the client to the server. Okay, so this is encrypted by the public key of the server, which was shared in the server hello. The server sent one key to the client. So this is the use of that key. So anything which will be encrypted by the public key can only be decrypted by the private key. And the private key is only hosted by the server. No one else in the world has that private key. So whenever this pre-master secret will be encrypted with the public key, no one in the middle can decrypt it because let's say there is one attacker in between. He will also has the public key because this only the public key will be shared in the server hello, nothing else. So this attacker will also has the public key. And this pre-master secret cannot be decrypted by the public key. It will be decrypted by the private key. So there the attacker fails. That's how you secure the connection between the server and client. Okay. Anything else, guys? Anyone? Shubham, Ankit, Ankush, Jay, Pankaj, Vikas, Gaurav. The algorithms will be in the certificate and when the public key is shared. So the algorithm was used when the public and the private key on the server were generated, and it will be using those algorithms only. Pankaj, do you have any question? You turned on your mic
No,
for a
sir.
minute. Okay. Jay, or okay, okay. So now we'll read about the certificate verification. How the client will verify that the certificate which was basically there are Ankit, basically there are we can say four steps: server hello, client hello, then the pre-master secret share, and the chain ciphertext, etc. But they are being delivered in multiple messages. So if you go to if you type SSL handshake cloud shark, you will see a link for the PCAPs or the packet captures of the SSL handshake. So you can see how many messages are being transferred, and you can open each packet and see what contents are being shared. Okay. So now we'll read about the certificate verification. How the client will verify the certificate. Okay. So okay. So I'll give you the same example. Let's say I've sent you my Aadhaar card. So this is only a piece of document or piece of paper. How you will verify that this is not tampered with, or this is the original identity of myself? So you will verify it on the database of the government who has issued this Aadhaar card. If the government has issued this Aadhaar card, they will have my data. And if this is legitimate, I should found this Aadhaar number in the database of the government. So similar, and you, as this Aadhaar card is issued by the government, you trust government. Okay, so this is an original piece of document, so you will trust. Okay, this is the identity of Pratik. The server certificate verification works in the similar way. So how the certificates are being issued? The certificates are issued by the certification authority. So certification, there could be multiple certification authorities, uh, and few are like DG, Cert, Let's Encrypt, GoDaddy. So these certification authorities are trusted by the uh, in the world, you can say. So these are the organization. There are multiple like this, and I don't know the names of all of them, but these are the few well-known CAs, and these are trusted by the world. And these have something called a root CA, which is used to sign the server certificate. So whenever a server needs a certificate, it will generate a certificate on its machine. It will send that certificate to the CA to get it signed. So let's say this is the certificate, and CA will sign it over here. Okay. So this is a digital signature, which will work as a stamp on that certificate. Okay, this is a legit certificate. So when this certificate reaches to the client, when this certificate reaches to the client, what it will do, the client has a database on its browser and its machine, which contains all the root certificates of these all the well-known CAs. Okay, those root certificates have something called public key of that uh, uh, CA. Okay, yeah. So uh, yeah. So and the signature on the certificate will be by the private key of the CA. So what does it mean? If this is signed by the private key of the CA, no one else in the world has this private key other than the CA, and the signature can only be decrypted by the public key of the CA. So if the client pulls a CA certificate of, let's say the client sees that this is signed by the GoDaddy, okay, and it pulls out the CA certificate, a root certificate of GoDaddy from its database, and he is able to decrypt the signature by the public key of the uh, root cert or of the CA. then this means that this is a legit certificate. Then there are, let's say, the certificate is expired or it's been revoked. What revoke means? uh, Expired, you know that the validity of the certificate has expired, and you should not trust that certificate anymore, because CA has said that, let's say the certificate is valid for 1 year, and you receive the certificate after 1 year, you should not trust it. So, and there is one more thing, certificate revocation. So what revoke means? That this certificate was not expired, it was declared not secure or untrusted before it can expire. So this is called the server certificate revocation. This could happen due to multiple reasons, that the organization uh, did some default, and the uh, the CA doesn't trust that organization anymore, or the private key which was supposed to be hosted on the server was compromised. So some attacker has gained access to the private key, and he can decrypt anything in the world associated with that, where that certificate will be used. So in that case also, CA will revoke the certificate, so it can secure the future connections. So anyone has any question how uh, the certificate will be verified? Guys, okay, so I'll, yeah, Ankit. So the server certificate verification is done by after the server hello is completed, because on that step itself it will receive the server certificate, and before it can generate the pre-master secret and everything else, it should trust that I'm connecting to the same certificate which was intended. Okay, so I told you about the server revocation or server being expired. So how the client will verify that this certificate is revoked? So there are two protocols called CRL and OCSP. So CRL is Certificate Revocation List, which is being published by the CA in a particular interval of time, and OCSP is Online Certificate Status Protocol. So this OCSP, what it does, whenever the client will receive the certificate, there will be a link to OCSP server, which will take the client to an OCSP server, which will have the current status of that certificate. So it will check the status of the certificate in real time. So it does not has to rely on the CRLs, because let's say CRL is being released every 24 hours, and I'm connecting to the server in 22nd hour, and the new CRL has not been published, and this certificate has been revoked. So what it will do? It will cause the client to trust that certificate, because till now he doesn't have the new CRL where the certificate is being has been declared revoked. So in this case, the client will trust that certificate, and this is not good for the confidentiality and integrity of the data. And the OCSP, what it does, it will check the status of the certificate in real time. So this is a better way to check the status of the certificate. Anyone has any questions? No, Ankit, this can't happen. If the certificate is revoked, it will be revoked by the CA, and as soon as it is revoked, it will be included in the database of the CA. Anyone has any other question, guys? Pankaj, Gaurav, Jay, Shubham.
Or what's the difference between SSL and TLS?
TLS is a enhanced version of the SSL, or it is a new version of the SSL. So, but it is based on SSL itself, nothing else. So, with the time, everything was evolved. SSL 1, initially there was SSL 1.1, then 1.2, then 1.3. So, this 1.3, this SSL 1.3 was called TLS 1.1. Then, after there were versions of TLS. Okay, but everything is based
Okay.
on SSL itself. Okay, so now I'll explain you one more thing. We have completed the handshake protocol, chain cipher spec. Alerts, these are only the messages if there is any issue between the SSL handshake. Now we'll read about the record layer protocol. So, what is record layer protocol? It is just a protocol which is being used during the data transfer. So, SSL handshake was only uh, used to connect the server and client in a secure manner. Now there comes the data transfer part, which will be encrypted. No one can read it other than the client and the server. So how that is done? This is done with the help of record layer protocol. So I told you there are four keys, right? The server encryption, the client encryption, the server HMAC, and the client HMAC. So what is a HMAC? HMAC is a hashing mechanism. So let's say this is my data. This is what I want to transfer. So what HMAC will do, it will calculate a hash value of this data and attach it at the end of the data. So this will be done by the client HMAC, this key. Okay. So what what is the hashing mechanism? It will calculate the hash value of this data. So it could be anything like A1 at the rate 2 equal this value will be like that. And let's say there is a attacker in between. Okay, so let's say he has intercepted the data, and he has interfered with the data, or he has changed something in the data. So what it does, let's say even one word in the data or one value in the data has been changed, this whole hashing value will be changed. So when the server will receive it and the HMAC doesn't match, it will it will know that this data is being tampered with. Okay. So okay, we have known that okay, this HMAC key has been used. So now the client encryption key will come in use. So now the data is there, the HMAC has been added. Now the client will encrypt the whole data with that key, including the HMAC. Okay. Now it is being transferred to the server. Server will decrypt the the data and the HMAC. Okay. And the this has been decrypted by the server with the help of the encryption keys, and now it will remove the HMAC, keep it aside. Now it will calculate its own HMAC. server will calculate its own HMAC for this data, another hashing value, and this this hash value should match with this HMAC. If it doesn't match, it will end the SSL connection. It will know that there has been a data breach, and if this value matches, it will perform the same task if the client is requesting some other data. Okay, so this is where the record layer protocol is used. Anyone has any other questions, guys? If anyone has any questions, please speak up now because we are done with our topic today. Sankit, what do you mean by what does record layer protocol is used? What it consists? It consists of usage of those encryption attachment keys. That's all. Anyone else has any other questions? Okay, so I'll take it as a no. Yes, Jay. Yeah.
What is master secret?
Master secret is so I told you that there will be a pre-master secret. Yeah, I think I missed this part. So the pre-master secret will be uh, is shared to the server, and I told you that it will use the other values which were shared by the client. So it will use those values and it will create a master secret. Both sides will create a master secret, and then the keys will be generated on both sides. There will be four keys generated on both sides. Server encryption, client encryption, server HMAC, client HMAC. So this pre-master secret is like a. Uh, so I told you we have server random, client random, and we need the pre-master secret. Okay, to create the master secret. Then there will be keys generated by these secret. And this pre-master secret is nothing. Just it is just a password you can say, or the piece of puzzle which will be used later to create the master secret. Okay. Anyone else?
Sir, in which place symmetric key is used and asymmetric key is used?
So asymmetric key is used during the SSL handshake, right? We discussed about the pre-master secret. Oh, sorry, public key and the private key, right?
Yes, sir.
So asymmetric encryption and decryption you can easily spot by